Okay, we're over here on the north side of the house. We have a north backyard with a little bit of a retaining wall here. Got a couple steps up there, not quite dimensionally uniform. We've got two gates on the north side. This gate. And speaking of the gates, fences beyond the scope of this inspection, but for the most part, with your neighbors and with you got metal posts. This one section right here we have wooden posts. These posts will not hold up like a metal post would. So, in the grand scheme of things, long-range planning, this doesn't have the longevity that some of it. Also of note, which I can't see in the backyard, but usually a retaining wall retains the property that belongs to you. So this yard right here, this retaining wall belongs to you. This retaining wall over here, and I don't know that, I don't do surveys. Okay, going to your neighbors, this is the high ground, which is good for drainage and stuff. We want that. But this retaining wall is holding your property. You might want to check your deed to find out if you own that retaining wall. That retaining wall way over yonder, okay, that's retaining your neighbor's property. And again, I don't do surveys, but likely that belongs to your neighbors. Now, a retaining wall over 4 feet high is supposed to have gotten, this one's not 4 foot high right here, but you know, it's reasonable to assume that the retaining wall gets higher uphill over there. And that retaining wall over there is easily over 4 feet. So they should have had permits to build those retaining walls. Coming over here, we've got 2 air conditionings and 2 water heaters. Okay. Now, both of the condensing units, this one is a 2-ton, I think, and the other one's a 4-ton on the other side. This one probably just handles the primary side and maybe the office study over there. Both of these condensing units are overfused. The circuit breakers in the electric load center are larger than is required to protect these units. If you have an oversized breaker, that means that these condensing units can operate in critical conditions for a lot longer. The breakers aren't going to trip in a timely manner to protect your equipment. So we've got oversized condensing units, and then the installation for both of these condensing units is pretty much ideal. Pretty much ideal. And when I get to the other one, I'll talk a little bit more about air conditioning. This is our water heater. We've got 2 water heaters. These are tankless water heaters. And we should have some insulation inside of here, which we don't. We'll talk it when we get to the other water heater. We'll speak to that. And the thermostat for this one is in the primary closet, and the thermostat for the other one is in the laundry. And coming over here, we got painted brick, we've got wooden siding, hardy type, fiberboard, and then we've also got some cut masonry. Now, painting brick, okay, brick like the masonry, but not like the siding. The brick, very good building material. Okay, architecture is regional. Okay, so it's got a lot of good characteristics, but something about this is low maintenance. Low maintenance. And when we painted the brick, now we've taken a low to no maintenance wall system, and now every once in a while, unless you like the distressed look and the paint starts peeling off in a weathered look and that's handsome to you, well then it's no big deal. But if you like the pure white aesthetic, then you're gonna have to paint it occasionally. Coming along here, we got a slab foundation. It's a post-tension slab, which is very good. I don't know which style post-tension it is. There's a couple of them, but the engineer would have decided which one was best. I don't know which one of them is better. I think it's suited to the application. Not sure about that, but a post-tension slab is a very good system. It's a lot stronger than the older slabs without the cables. And I can tell it's post-tension because we've got these little circles are kind of telegraphing through here, through the parge coat. The parge coat, what's a parge coat? It's a decorative coat on the foundation perimeter. Sometimes if they've got repairs on the foundation, that will cover that. But a lot of times it's just purely aesthetic. I do not know the reason why the coat was parged, and aesthetic is a reasonable. If it's truthful, it's a reasonable answer. Where do termites live? They live in the ground. Okay. What do they eat? Dead wood. Okay. What's wood mulch? Dead wood on the ground next to your house. It's called a clue. If I was doing a wood destroying insect report, and I'm not, it's too new. After about 5 or 7 years, you might have a pest control company come in and look for those little critters, those little rascals. Never say never. One of my associates bought a 5-year-old house. They had termites, so there's that. But we're coming on along. Now, the aesthetic of this and the brick, I'm talking about how good it is. One characteristic about brick is it's porous and it leaks. Oh, it's been painted. Well, I get it. But all walls leak. So that's the way we build them. This really isn't our wall. These are fascias. And these are weep holes. Those holes are here by design, because we know water is getting behind the wall, and we have a drainage plane behind the wall. Most of the time you're only going to see water vapor come out of these. Most of the time that's all you're going to see. But if you have an event, water can come out too. Because we should have a drainage plane behind the walls. Our rain gutters divert water underground, and they come out over there. Moving on along over here, we got a little bit of movement right there on this corner brick and the mortar right in there. Now, between these walls, okay, we've created a water table. And to address this properly, what we've done is this is a cap flashing. It's kind of a hybrid cap and Z-bar flashing. So the flashing goes about this high up underneath here. Okay, so the water from behind the wall comes down here, comes down the outside, not the inside. Porous, bud, I know. But that's what it's for, is to keep the water from going in there. But if we come over here, this is the primary suite closet. And we come over here and we look at this cap flashing, and I thought it looked pretty bad before. Maybe it was a different area. No, it was here. Until I found some worse. Okay, so I thought I'll save the worst for later. But we come over here in this little niche, and we've got the siding that's all chewed up in here and brought in here, and this is the water that kind of go down in there, and then we got it sealed up in here. And just look at you think water can just like hang out inside of there? I do. I think water can just like vacation there. So there's that. Moving on along. That's a crepe myrtle. I don't know much about trees. It could be a potato tree. But trees, and this is ornamental, I get it, decorative. It's like a kitten. Okay? A tree shouldn't be placed within 25 feet of a slab foundation. The roots can suck the moisture out from the foundation. The roots can grow and push and move the foundation. Trees can do that. The branches can wreck your shingles. Okay? Speaking of shingles, let's come down this roof right down here. You see that right there? Okay, anytime a vertical wall intersects with the roof covering at the drip edge, there should be kick-out flashing to encourage the water that's running down here to pull a bat turn, come down there, and go down your rain gutter. That's what it should be doing. Now, this rain gutter is kind of interesting. See the little stripes on it? Water's been running off of it. That happens on occasion. This end of the rain gutter looks higher than this end. This end of the rain gutter has the downspout. So what does the water do? I'm going to put my ladder up there and see what the water does. That's what I'm going to do. But this end should be a little higher than this end, so the water is encouraged to go down your downspout. and you're supposed to have kick-out flashing. And the rain gutter is supposed to be an inch away from the wall. Okay, so you're supposed to have a gap. You've almost got an inch there, a little bit, but not quite. Okay, so you're supposed to have an inch, and you're supposed to have kick-out flashing. That's what's supposed to be happening there. Now, remember when I was talking about this, and I was going to show you this? I couldn't wait to get over here and show you this. But you come over here, it gets a little worse, or more exaggerated. You know, but has water been staying down here? B-U-D. Yeah, water's been staying here. Water sits here. What happens when water sits here? Well, if the flashing goes up high enough, we're not going to have an issue. We should have more of a gap right there. We should have more of a gap right there. Okay? But what's going to happen is this is going to corrode prematurely. And then when it starts leaking in there, it will leak inside of your wall. And if it corrodes prematurely and you don't wait for the leak, you want to be proactive about it, it's going to cost you a little bit to replace this. Sure is. It's going to cost you. Moving on along over here, we got more of the same. So the water's been sitting down in there. But really, I think this one is about, we got a little bit of a gap right over here over our receptacle. But right here, these two areas are some of the worst that I've seen. Okay, spin out, run around here, slam gears. Okay, is that rain gutter an inch away? I don't think it is. I don't think that rain gutter is an inch away. Now we're coming over here. We're supposed to have a minimum of 4 inches between the soil, and the Texas Real Estate Commission, I believe, says 6. But code says 4. So this is new construction. But that's above the foundation. Where does water go? It goes downhill. Okay, so if your soil line or your mulch line, if it's higher than your foundation, is the water going to go into your wall? Uh-huh. Yep. Okay. On along. Okay, remember drainage planes? I'm all about the weep holes and everything. I know I sound like a hillbilly. When we have brick, not wood, but brick. When we have brick, we've got to hold the wall up when we put our windows in there. So we put lintels over, lintels are metal plates over our fenestrations. That's French for windows. We put lintels over there, all right? And the lintels hold up the brick, so we've got to put weep holes over our lintels. And that explains those. But they're steel. And when steel rusts, it expands. And when it rusts and expands, it causes cracks. You know, eventually it'll get, weaker. And we try to prolong that. We try to avoid that with a thing called paint. And our lintels should have been painted. Which, by the way, I don't think I've got that in my notes. So I'll kind of show you my method. Come on, come alive. There, oh, right. The lintels have not been painted. Pick up my notes. Moving on along. Now we're moving to more fenestrations. More windows. But no brick. We don't have lintels. Don't need weep holes. But see that casement above it? Right above the window, you can see there's some Z-bar flashing. Like I was talking about that Z-bar flashing over there. Well, there's some right there. But right there over the window, you see you got some Z-bar flashing. But if you read the Hardy Manufacturing Installation Instructions, they'll tell you that that header board should also have Z-bar flashing. So you're supposed to have some Z-bar flashing over that too. We don't have that. Okay, let's keep on rolling, man. We're rollers. Alright. No Z-bar flashing. No Z-bar flashing over this. Over our casement or the casement trim board. And if you look up here, you can see a gap where this one's been sagging. Think water can jump off in there? Uh-huh. Yeah, I do. That's what I think. Okay, I'm going to test you later. Okay, more parge coat coming on along. Man, I love this. See, that's a blocking plate. Man, I always write that up.